Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? I am your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord New Thor 7, and this is your update on the storm I've been warning about since April that would be major, massive, and a total danger to the east coast of the United States of America. And 3 out of the 4 GFS model runs since my last update have shown landfall on an area of the United States of America, with only one going out to sea, and that was super suspect. Right now, I'm going to show you the very latest model run, hot off the presses, and give you a THORnews commercial, because how I make my money is through contributions and donations. Something crazy happened Saturday night. I walked to the bank to put in 4 checks into my bank account. And when I called this morning, they said one of the checks got put on hold. So all the checks got put on hold until the 18th. So I'm now totally broke and have a $55 phone payment that has to be paid by tomorrow night. So if you can and would like to contribute, I got a PayPal, a Venmo, and a CashApp that would really help me out, because I've been bringing you consistent, awesome information and help warning and prepare 112 million people for a landfalling hurricane. There is still a 20% chance this thing will go out to sea, but I've drawn this thing up again and 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 again since April. And now that the models are pretty much drawing it up 80% of the time, exactly like I've told you, I would take this seriously. And for the last week, 75% of all model runs have pretty much shown a major hurricane making landfall on either Florida or the northeast coast, or both, consistently. And so I don't even know how I could do a better job, bro. And so what I'm saying is, A, Puerto Rico, I'm very worried about you. You have a week to prepare, because half the model runs have shown it developing and possibly having some type of a hurricane landfall. I still think there's a chance it could go more north than what is being shown now. But, after what happened with Maria, you guys are definitely not in a condition to handle any type of a hurricane. So I will be watching out for you guys like a hawk. But, we got like 13 days until this thing is going to be here. You've got a lock on from the GFS and the Euro that both put it about here on the 18th or 19th, which would leave landfall for Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and all the way up the East Coast. So, yeah. Both the Euro and the GFS have a lock on day 10, putting the hurricane in a position that would be a great threat to the people of the United States. The models have consistently drawn this up as the WTF monster that I have been talking about for 5 months. Are you listening? And traditional media will probably only give y'all a 5 to 7 day warning. So please forgive me if I feel like an all-American superhero. But please take this warning to heart, because at this point, it doesn't look like I'm going to get a whole lot of help warning people about the potential dangers we face. But I'll do the best I can as one man. Models have shown the monster pie shape multiple times, and we are almost 6 months from the March winter hurricane that set records, devastated Nebraska and the Midwest, and wiped out over half of our crops. And so I've been saying that since the hurricane will be over warmer waters, and it will be the superior Neptune opposition as opposed to the inferior opposition, which this was, that the storm coming in 2 weeks has potential to be at a minimum 25% stronger. Even though I believe it will probably come here and then scrape up. I mean, it could even miss and then go straight into New York. Everybody from Texas along the coast needs to be prepared because the next 51 days of peak hurricane season are going to be deadly. This model run would take it all the way up Florida, connecting with a giant massive storm, and then drag nasty amounts of rain all the way up the East Coast. This model run is closer to my prediction to where it would miss North Carolina, allowing it to keep its intensity, and then here it doesn't make serious landfall until about Maine or Nova Scotia, but the rain that it would bring would still be partially catastrophic. And I want to remind everybody, the winter hurricane in March left over 300 rivers flooding. And so I've always said this has a 20% chance of going out to sea if we are super lucky. But that is not what we should prepare for. And so I've been warned about this since April. Models have consistently been drawing it up since Tuesday. So for a solid week, the GFS has been showing us 75% of the time landfalling hurricanes on the East Coast, anywhere from Florida all the way up to New York and Boston. And I'm still pretty sure I'm one of the only places you're hearing about this, or you've been hearing about this. And so after 7 years of THORnews, I have built a stellar reputation as a man with honesty and integrity. And yes, I get stuff wrong. But let me ask you, why would I put all my eggs in this basket if I wasn't really confident that I was really onto something? And that I would guess if it were going to happen, it would turn north about 210 miles east of the Bahama landfall and then go straight up the coast. This from Cranky Weather Guy, who did probably the best job on Dorian of any man or woman on the planet. Departure of Dorian and Northwest Pacific relationship helping to boost our reprisal. Features over Central West Asia, Siberia shake up the Pacific in about 10 to 14 days, which send a wave our way in the month to shift our pattern. Watch the East Coast tropics when the North Pac shakeup begins. Watch the East Coast tropics. In Puerto Rico, I highly recommend you be watching this like a hawk, and I will do everything I can to give you all the best information. All right, so don't panic. We can prepare and deal with this. But I do want to remind you, Dorian, who will probably not be as strong as the coming hurricane will be, generated a 100-foot wave as high as Newfoundland. And so you prepare for the worst case scenario, you pray for the best, and it's never too soon to start praying this thing goes out to sea. Anywho, I've done about as amazing a job as I can imagine a man can do. I've laid it out for you for 5 straight months. The models are showing it just like I've been drawing it up. It is simplified, connecting the dots. All the other videos go into all the other points of why I believe it is, why it will be. I don't want to go over them again. But if you do want to support and reward, I'd appreciate it, because I know that our system doesn't really like to reward good guys these days. But maybe it's time to change that shit, y'all. Anywho, I love y'all. Y'all have been fantastic. You're the only reason I'm here still doing this. And I will continue to do what I can to bring you the best information without trying to strike fear into anybody's hearts. But if there was a time to be like, hey, if worst case scenario is there, do I want to be there with me and my family and my pets and my friends? Or would I want to be somewhere safe? You know? It's up to you. And I'll do what I can to continue to cover this story. And y'all stay cool. And God bless everyone. Peace out.